Welcome to the Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast. Music from the wrong side of the tracks. This is a show that drags you through the gritty alleys of sleaze rock, gutter glam, and all forms of dirty rock and roll. And now, here are your hosts, Andy and Gary.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming back. We are the Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast, and I am one of your hosts, Gary. With me, as always, is my co-host and the creator of this podcast, Andy.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us again today.
Yeah, welcome to Season 4, Episode 2. And let's see. This band that we're going to do today actually is near and dear to my heart. I had a big fixation. When this band's first album dropped in 1991, I was all over it. This thing hardly ever left the cassette tape or deck, and it hardly ever left the CD player. Take your pick. You know, I just wore this thing out. It was a favorite of mine for a lot of reasons, you know. But if I were to ask my co-host, Andy, who do you think this band that I'm going on about, who is it going to be today?
Tonight, we're going to turn the volume down to zero for the LA band, The Zeros.
The actual LA band, The Zeros.
Yes, but not the 70s LA punk band known by the same name of The Zeros. This is those purple-haired weirdos, hook-obsessed LA power pop outfit who released the album 4-3-2-1 back in 1991.
1991, Ed?
So long ago.
Seems so long ago, Andy.
And somehow this band still ends up on the wrong side of history.
Like most of the bands we cover.
Exactly. This is the sound of counting down while the industry quietly counts you out.
4, 3, 2, 1, indeed.
So, Los Angeles. Let's go back in time. Late 1980s. The city's drowning in ambition, cocaine, and bad decisions.
Are there any good decisions made on cocaine, Andy?
Maybe we've made a few. Record labels, they're circling. The clubs are always packed. Everyone out there, you know, they thought they were one hit away from escaping their apartments, their day jobs, or maybe even that roommate that never paid their rent.
Let's get on a bus. Let's leave the Midwest. Let's go out to Los Angeles and start a band. Oh, we'll be rock stars. We'll be big overnight. We'll be big in Japan, at least.
Yeah, you and 7,000 other people every day.
Speaking of which, do we have enough money for another ramen? Can we split that 4 ways?
So some bands go, you know, full cartoon. Pretty Boy Floyd.
Not saying any, not mentioning names.
Yeah, too late. Some bands went punk and then burned out gloriously. And some, like the Zeros, they did something unusual. They wrote great songs.
Catchy, memorable, hook-filled, chorus-laden.
Everything you would want in a song.
What's not to like? Why don't you tell me about the band members, Andy?
Alrighty. So let's start off with Joe Normal on guitar.
Joe Normal.
And Jim, Mr. Insane, on the drums.
That would be Jim and Joe Hutchinson.
Correct. Then let's jump over to Danny Dangerous on the bass.
Danny Dangerous. Danny Lucas, I believe that's his real name. And I believe he gave himself the moniker Dangerous. That was not given to him by Sammy.
So let's jump over to the lead vocals, where we have Mr. Sammy Serious.
And Sammy's name, I believe, is Samuel David Sadowitz.
Why would you change that? You don't get much more rock and roll than that.
Well, it'd be awkward if the band's name was Serious Sadowitz.
That's true.
It just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, doesn't it? The Zeros kind of existed in the margins of the LA club scene. They weren't really punk, not really glam, and they definitely weren't that soft pop like we heard on our old school AM radios growing up, you know, crap like, I don't know, Firefall.
You are the woman that I've always dreamed of.
Yeah, maybe some good Barry Manilow.
Yeah, okay, Andy, this is a trash rock podcast.
Yeah.
Enough of your AM bullshittery.
So instead, this band played power pop with attitude.
Can you play power pop without attitude?
No, you cannot.
Well, I guess you could. I mean, look at Raspberries and whatever. It wasn't always chunky all the time.
That's true.
But I like my power pop with attitude.
I like it with tight songs, sharp hooks, and just enough minutes to make this stuff interesting.
And let's not forget, Andy, don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
Exactly. This is music for people who love melody. They don't trust anyone who does a little bit too much smiling while they're delivering it. And I'm talking to you, John Bon Jovi.
Smiling, smiling. Hey, regarding the Zeros, I guess, they were put together, I believe, Sammy said in an interview that I listened to in 1981, 82 is when they first formed. But their big break came in 1984, when they're big fans of the Howard Stern radio program. And apparently while Howard's on, Howard is lamenting the fact that he does not have his own theme song.
Oh, no.
And that he would really like one. So Sammy, being Sammy, takes this to heart and he sits down to write a theme show jingle for Howard. The band records it. They've got it on cassette. The only problem is now, how do we get this in Howard's hands? So the story goes that one of the brothers had an in at NBC and got into the building unescorted, but had no idea which floor or which office or was Howard's studio. So he's just randomly running up and down the hallways when suddenly in the hallway a door opens. Now, a door that does not appear to be a door from the viewer's viewpoint of being in the hallway. It's kind of like a secret door,
Yeah.
And as he's running by, this door opens, and as he's running by, he sees Howard actually through the sliver of the door. So he launches the cassette tape through the opening in the door, and then he's caught and he's escorted off the premises. Well, Howard actually plays the tape. He likes the tape. It becomes Howard's de facto theme song, and it stays that way for decades. So, I don't know, the song is called Howard. A lot of you probably have heard it if you're long-time Howard Stern fans.
What does that spell?
I don't know. Stern, apparently, But anyways, he's blasting this not only on the New York airways of WNBC, but also later on at WXRK. And suddenly the Zeros start getting a little bit of recognition because this wasn't just some podunk, local band. This was the sound of Howard Stern's show, waking up to 3 million viewers or listeners, I should say, however many he had at the time. So
yeah, and think about it, as he started to expand his empire, that song went with him. I mean, we constantly heard it out here in the mornings.
There's a little controversy regarding the song. There's a little bit of a bitterness between Sammy and Howard because apparently Howard liked it, and of course Sammy and the Zeros signed a contract for the use, and the contract was for 6 months. And when Howard jumped ship and went to the different station, he continued to use the song without getting a new contract for Sammy, and apparently things went south a little bit. But anyways, we're going to give you a little bit of the taste of the Zeros, and we're going to play some of that song. This is your first taste of the Zeros. This is that Howard Stern theme song. This is HOWARDSTERN from the Zeros. Here we go.
HOWARD S-E-E-R-N H-O-W-A-R-D S-E-E-R-N H-O-W-A-R-D S-E-E-R-N H-O-W-A-R-D S-E-E-R-N Who's the funniest guy in the world? Howard Stern! Who's paid to be on a dollar bill? Howard Stern! Who should be president of the United States? Howard Stern! And who should have his own TV show? Howard Stern! H-O-W-A-R-D S-E-E-R-N H-O-W-A-R-D S-E-E-R-N Who's the guy you want your daughter to marry? Howard Stern! And who's the guy you should pay your taxes to? Howard Stern! Who's the guy you should idolize more than God? Howard Stern! Who's the guy most everyone wants to meet? Howard Stern! H-O-W-A-R-D S-E-E-R-N
But by let's say early 85, Andy, this is when they dropped their first real calling card. They made themselves a 5-song, 7-inch EP that they called Be a Zero. Back then, I believe they were called 00 Zeros, and they dropped this on a scrappy New York indie Mountain Records label. And so, indie labels. New Jersey is their home. That's where they're from. That's where they came from originally before, we'll get into it. But they made this 5-song 7-inch EP on Mountain Records from New Jersey. And then, well, they did kind of like, they had a reputation for playing the New Jersey clubs, but Sammy says in an interview that there was no way that you could play back in the day at that time period that you could get away with playing your own music, that you had to play cover songs. And if you wanted to play your own original music, you'd have to basically leave New Jersey and travel into New York and play some of those clubs that were there. So
they were a little more open to original music.
And, so they know that they're really not going to make it there in New Jersey, and they've got to make a decision. So what do? They do something fucking drastic. They packed up themselves and they crossed the Atlantic and decided that we're going to hang out in England for a while,
We're out of here.
So they spent all of that spring and fall through 1985 grinding it out across the UK, and they were doing it one gig at a time. And apparently they were playing with and hanging out with members of Hanoi Rocks, the Choir Boys. They were getting well known, and that's exactly when their work visas run out, Andy.
Hanging out with the big hitters, and then you got to leave.
Yeah, apparently they were over there, and they were just gaining traction, and they were gaining a following, and they were friends with everybody. Everybody accepted them. The English bands accepted them for who they were, and so they're just making a name for themselves. They're just starting to move the needle, and their work visas expire. So they were told by management at the time that, hey, why don't you just bop over to France real quick, over to Paris, and renew your work visas, and then come on back, and everything will be cool. But apparently one of the members of the band, and not the members that Andy described earlier, that's their most beloved lineup, and I guess their most well-known lineup. But, back in the early days, there was, I believe, somebody by the name of Frank Cleaver that may have been, in the band. And anyways, there's some sort of personal strife going on at home, so he has to leave and return to the States anyways. So the rest of the band looks at themselves and they say, okay, well, we have a choice. We can either do like they say, jump over, go to France, renew our work visas, come back here and carry on, or we're hearing of this new scene taking off in Los Angeles, and it sounds like it'd be right up our alley, so to speak. So what do you say? You want to stay here, or you want to try our hand in L.A.?
We're out of here.
So they decide that they're out of there, just like Andy said. So in 1986, they land back in Los Angeles, and of course, now they need to add a different player, and so they added bassist Danny Lucas. They gained management with, believe it or not, former Poison manager Howie Huberman. How many times have we heard that name, Howie Huberman?
Yeah, that name gets thrown around a lot in this circle.
Yeah, apparently he had his hand in helping a lot of bands back in the day. Just one of those guys, I guess,
Yeah, doing all the right things at the right time, but then doesn't necessarily get the glory for it later.
Yeah, well, apparently with this guy in their corner, the band, he starts steering them in a different direction, and so the band didn't just look different, they built on their own full-on cartoon type of universe. They start out with matching purple hair. Apparently, Sammy said that the 000s in New Jersey, they all sported blonde hair, and he just wanted a different look, and they're out in LA or whatever, so he goes nutty, and he dyes his hair purple. And apparently it's a big hit with the rest of the band members, so they all do it. So then everything becomes matching purple everything, so everybody's got purple hair. And of course, this is the, I guess the days right around that time period when everybody started going nutty with hair colors and stuff, the John Q. Public and club goers and everything like that.
Yep.
So they've got this purple hair thing going on. And then, of course, everything became purple. And they even got a shoe contract from, the standard rock and roll shoe has always been the Chuck Taylor Converse, right?
Right, exactly.
It's the high top, Andy, right?
The high top, that's the perfect one.
It's always rock and roll shoe, right?
Right, and it's good because, like on stage, when you step on cords, those shoes don't tend to damage your cords or anything. Where cowboy boots or something.
Because there's no fucking support in them whatsoever.
Right,
it's
absolutely. Yeah, there's like some air in there somewhere.
But anyways, that is the official rock and roll shoe. And Andy owns pairs, and I own pairs, and blah blah blah. Where's he going with this? Well, apparently they got a deal with Converse to make them the Zeros purple custom thigh high Converse Chuck tailors.
Thigh high, you say?
Yeah, let me repeat that for people out there who may thigh high. And if you search the internet, you can see pictures of Sammy wearing these things. And my first thought, Andy, would be, how long does it take to get into those fuckers?
Yeah, it's like, give me 45 minutes, lady. I'm going to bang you like you've never been banged before. I got to get out of these shoes.
As soon as I get these shoes off.
Yeah, once I get these shoes off, you're going to get loving like you've never had it before.
Lace number 48, lace number 47, lace number 46, lace number 4. Anyway, so they've got this thing going, so they're totally cartooning it up to the point where they even are cruising around Hollywood in a custom, souped up 1968 Chevy Nomad that they dubbed the Zero Mobile.
The Zero Mobile.
And, I don't know, LA, they kind of took notice fast, and Danny Dangerous, he's got this childhood pal who's an artist. The guy's name is Butch Lukic, Lukic. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Easy for you to say.
Or Lukic, or Lukic, is it tie me down? Is it tie me down? Is it?
It's Butch. That's all we.
Is it? Anyways, they became, as close to being like literal comic book characters as they could, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
And they just went nuts, absolutely nuts with flyers, merch, magazines.
That was the call of the day. The flyers fucking everywhere. Every street post, everywhere you could put a flyer, put it on there.
Are you kidding? You'd walk down Sunset Strip, which I've done before in the past, and have so many. It's like somebody handing you a piece of paper and telling you, here, you throw this on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened to 99.9% of them.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, they're trying to build themselves as a brand now. And it's not just kind of a band anymore. It's this whole thing. It was a brand, it's kind of a visual assault that wasn't being done at the time. Kind of like a middle finger to everybody, but that finger is wrapped in glitter and gasoline. And if you look at that cover of that album, 4321, that's an excellent example of Butch Lukic's work. I mean, It's an animated cover, like an old school cartoon, but it's got that, he drew or animated that old school muscle car in the forefront that the band's all hanging out of. It's a great cover.
Yeah, it is a great cover for an album. And it really fits the spirit of this band.
Yeah, you're right. And one last thing, Andy, before I let you go on, I guess Sammy says that was based on a real car that they used to drive around in. That car still exists and they still have it.
The Zero Mobile?
The Zero Mobile.
Still in existence.
Show me pictures or it's not real.
Right. By 1987, the Zeros were officially bleeding into pop culture. They even popped up on NBC's show Easy Street, where they shared screen time with none other than Peter Noon of Herman's Hermit. Talk about your rock and roll heavy hitters.
I'm telling you. Yeah. Who we got lined up to hang out with? Peter Noon.
Oh, man.
But,
this is exactly the kind of left field collision shit that only LA can cook up. It's like nobody in their right mind would have combined these two to begin with.
Well,
But, things get a little weirder, kind of in the best kind of way, though. In 1988, the Zeros cut the track Mr. MX-7, which I believe was a car, right? Mazda MX-7?
RX-7.
Oh, never mind. God.
MX-7 sounds like some new robotic kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the new Roomba?
But they worked on this with producer Nigel Harrison.
Nigel?
Who you may be familiar with.
Nigel?
He originally worked in the band Silverhead alongside Michael DeBarr.
That's a great band, but most people are going to go, who?
Yes, exactly. But he's better known as the bass player for the classic lineup of Blondie.
Blondie. Hey, did this cat show up in Checkered Past, too?
Yes, he did. That's a good point.
With Michael DeBarr and Clem Burke.
Yep.
And
all of those, like Steve Jones. Was it both Sales brothers?
Hunt Sales.
And Soupy.
Hey, I don't know, but this is the Nigel Harrison we're talking about, right? So he's producing this movie and he wants to get the Zeros involved?
Right. So somehow he also ropes in Stiv Bators. Yes, the Stiv Bators of the Dead Boys and one of Gary's favorite bands.
The Lords of the New Church Lads.
Yes, for the cult classic comedy movie Tapeheads, which starred John Cusack, who was pretty unknown at that time.
Yeah, early John Cusack.
Yeah, very. And the song originally written by Sammy Serious, but on screen, it's, Stiv up there snarling it out, kind of turning the whole thing into a punk rock cameo from another dimension. And what do you say we listen to some of this song?
Well, now, wait a second. Even though Sammy, and it's a Zeros song, for the movie, it was Lords of the New Church with Stiv singing, right?
Correct.
But there is a version of the Zeros version of that song, right?
That is correct.
What do you say we play a little bit from both?
That's a great idea.
What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. We'll do the original version by the Zeros first, and then we'll throw in some of that second version by, Stiv or the Lords, however you want to look at it. And it's, there's definitely a difference between the two. One sounds more like the Zeros, and the other definitely a little bit darker, definitely falls more into that Lords territory.
Here we go. Mr. MX7. Hey, that's Mr. MX7 to you.
My apologies, Mr. MX7.
Don't get me confused with my cousin RX7.
Or Rat Boy.
That's Mr. Rat Boy to you. Oh, call back to an earlier episode, lads.
My apologies to Mr. Rat Boy.
There's no reason for this type of fear, but you keep building me one by one. All I want is to be a partnership. No more threat to anyone. I will be good. Go ahead and drop the bomb. You don't want anyone. You don't want anyone to live. Go ahead and kill yourself. You live in hell. Breathe all
So Hollywood kept calling. The band landed 2 songs and even an on-screen performance in the 1989 grindhouse flick Caged Fury.
Caged Fury.
Co-starring none other than powerhouse actor Eric Estrada. Yeah.
You mean Paunch?
Yes, from Chips.
Paunch is in Paunchy Caged Fury.
Yes, exactly.
But they're in the song. They're actually in the movie?
Yeah. So I guess it's proof that the Zeros were kind of becoming like the go-to soundtrack for sleaze, speed, late night cable chaos. And I don't know, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say a really, really shitty film career.
Way to get started, lads. Well, you got to start somewhere. I don't know. Let's flash forward just a little bit to 1991. 1991, Andy, they finally dropped their full-length album titled, once again, we've talked about it, 4, 3, 2, 1. And they dropped this on Restless Records label. And the label was all in behind this band. They loved this band, you know.
Yeah.
They went so far in to take money out of their Restless Records budget, and they actually got the Whiskey A Go-Go Club to agree to have the entire club outside painted purple for the Zeros logo across the top of the venues for their album release. And for a hot minute, the Sunset Strip didn't just host the Zeros, it belonged to the Zeros,
right.
You know?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy that the clubs even went along with that, or that the label would spend that kind of money to do that for somebody.
Well, now think about it, really. Go back, the Whiskey A Go-Go has always been orange, right? And it's legendary. Everybody knows it's legendary. The Doors with a house band, blah, blah, blah. Anybody says anybody dreams of playing the whiskey. And once you get inside the whiskey, you realize it's this dumpy little piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I say that in a loving way, like I'd ever have the chance to play there, and you'd give your eye teeth to play there, But for that legendary club to agree to have the entire building painted purple just for this band, just for their album release cover, and they agree to it,
Right.
But apparently they were kind of ruling the Strip at that particular time. They had gained enough notoriety, and we didn't even touch upon the stage show. I mean, you got Danny Dangerous, and he's looking like an evil clown. He's looking like, like Pennywise before, he's before, and he's taking the shtick. He's like an evil clown mime. So he's, always bouncing around the stage, you got Sammy.
Eyebrows.
Mr. Insane never plays with a shirt on, and he's just got this manic, wild look about him at all times through you got Joe Normal, who's the pretty one, I guess, of the group, and the one that looks more like a rock star should look. And you got Sammy up front, and he's got a microphone stands that's got dangling baby shit on it, and everything like that. And they're putting on a show. They're actually putting on a show,
Right.
So here's a couple of promo quotes that come from this little sheet that I have still in my possession of the album release. And this one comes from courtesy of something called The Hard Report. And they say, yeah, it is. They say that this band, the Zeros, they combine the raunch of the New York Dolls, the pop sensibility of early Cheap Trick, the sneer of the original Alice Cooper Band, Marvel Comics thrash of the beloved Ramones, and Trey Chic in their matching purple hair.
That sounds like the perfect combination.
Well, they say 43210 Zeros is the equivalent of getting smashed in the face by a fist dipped in sugar.
Does that hurt, or does it just taste good?
And another quote on this promo sheet that I have says, after all, nearly every Zeros song is hooked with the ringy kind of chorus that's the stuff of pop dreams. Buy their record, love this band. And that comes from the prestigious BAM magazine. Well, there you go, so they're going to have this album release party, and they're going to have this at the Whiskey A Go-Go. And this is kind of like before the internet, or internet's kind of, it's around, but I don't have access. I don't have a home computer or whatever. So I'm getting my information by a word of the dodo,
Right.
And so it comes to we come to find out that they're going to drop this album. They're going to have this album release party. It's going to take place on this date. So I say to myself, hey, you're a big fan of this band. Why don't you go? So I schedule my work vacation to coincide with the Zeros playing this album release show at the Whiskey. So I schedule the time off, and then I get in my car, my beat to shit little Mazda soup can roller skate, seen better days, shouldn't be taking a long road trip out of state, no probably working spare tire, no credit card, no. But I'm young and I'm foolish and I'm stupid and I'm a fan of the band, so I'm gonna go. Before I do, I say to myself, why not really climb on board and show the band and show the people and show your rebellious side? And why don't you dye your hair purple too? Hey, wouldn't that be a great idea?
That is a great idea.
So, not knowing anything about beauticians or dyeing hair or whatever, I realized that all these colors of all these rainbow color hairs that I see walking around, most of them are coming from our local record store in Phoenix, and that store is called Zia Records. And when you go up to the front, there's a big glass counter, and behind the counter, Andy, are small little bottles of hair dye.
Manic Panic.
Manic Panic is the name. I buy the darkest purple that I can buy, the most flamboyant shade that they've got in behind the color that represents what the Zeros are doing, and I go home, and I plan on dyeing my hair. But guess who doesn't know what the hell he's doing about dyeing his hair?
I'm going to guess you, the drummer.
Guess who? No protective gloves, in a white porcelain bathtub with my hair upside down. By the time that I was done, not only did my pigment look like it was going to be permanently stained in a grape color, but the bathtub itself looked like probably the murder scene in the movie Psycho. You know, the part. And I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck am I going to get this dark purple off a white porcelain bath? Where was Mr. Clean in that fucking eraser when I needed it most back then?
Nowhere to be seen.
So anyways, I climb out and I'm just looking at myself, and it's a moment to take in, but I am a purple-headed motherfucker now, you know, so I jump in the car. Everything's good. And, you know, I'm going to stay overnight in L.A., and then the next day of the show, I'm going to make my way over to the Whiskey, and all's right with the world.
Is it?
And so I get a hotel room on Friday night, and I get it at the corner of Alta Cienega, La Cienega, and anyways, it's this little place that I can afford. And ironically, it's the same place where Jim Morrison used to live back in the early 60s, right. Alta Cienega Motel or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually staying in the room that he used to live in or whatever, you know, and the selling point for this is the Strip is like a block or two away walking. All the clubs are there. The Whiskey, the Roxy, at the time, Gazzari's, the Rainbow, they're all within walking distance, right? So here I go. It's time for the, I'm going to get ready, and I go over there, and for whatever reason, the band pushes the show back a week.
A week. After you schedule and vacation time.
I've already took the time. I've already got whatever money I've got. I've already spent it on hotel rooms and purple hair dye. And now I'm in the middle of Los Angeles and the show ain't happening.
No, that is a real letdown.
You know, so to make matters, salvageable at that time, I go, well, what do you do with the rest of the day? The show in the evening is not going to happen. So I do what any tourist would do. I head down to Hollywood Boulevard, and I'm just going to, maybe walk up and down and see where all the Man's Chinese Theater, where, the handfoots and the footprints are or whatever, So I'm down there. And of course, you forget that you have purple hair because your mind is completely on a different thing now. And, so you forget. So I'm standing there, I'm looking around at all the hand footprints. And I know this is a long story, but bear with me, people, because there's a payoff at the end. As I'm looking around, this big charter bus pulls up right in front of the theater. And the door opens, and who gets off? And this, I'm not making this up. I swear this is true. Every person that climbs off the board is of Asian descent. Mm-hmm. And not only are they on a tour, probably from wherever they came from, but each and every one of them has a camera around their neck. Cliche, but true. Cliche, Andy, but true.
It's a cliche for a reason.
So they're in there, and, I'm now looking at footprints and handprints, and where's Marilyn Monroe, and where's John Wayne, and holy shit, did John Wayne have a small foot for being such a fucking big action hero and stuff. I'm minding my own business, but out of the corner of my eye, I see now that a couple of these people are taking pictures, and I think they're taking pictures of the general surroundings and where they're at. But I realized that they're taking pictures of me. And I'm like, why are you taking pictures of me? And then it dawns on me, here's this crazy guy with purple hair. And so while I may not have seen the Zeros release party at the Whiskey like I intended, I'm sure I'm in some coffee table books in Japan.
Yeah, you're big in Japan, Gary. There's like these people like, we don't know who the hell this guy was, but he had purple hair and he definitely was a maniac.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Anyways, to get back to the story or whatever, by the time 4-3-2-1 arrived and hit the shelves, Power Pop, which had made a little bit of a comeback, well, that's already back on life support, you know? The knack had gone from everywhere and everything to just plain embarrassing. And boy, the backlash on those guys hit hard and hit fast. Cheap Trick are still around, but they're, dodging trends, like landmines, but none of their output was exceptional as the stuff that they put out in the early to mid to late 70s or whatever.
Would this have been around the Flame era?
But, like I say, Power Pop is kind of fading, and this is what now the Zeros, they have punk elements too, and they've got rock elements. I'm not just going to pigeonhole them into the Power Pop category, but based on the hooks, the choruses, the riffs, the catchiness of it all, I mean, that's where a lot of this stuff would land,
Yeah.
But, I guess MTV, they're too busy deciding which high cheekbones mattered the most over the actual content of the music they were trying to play. And so into this whole mess walks the Zeros with their purple hair and their, not exactly pretty boys, except for Joe,
Right.
And they're holding an album in their hands that felt less like optimism and more like a warning. Hey, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the countdown before impact comes. So what we'd like to do right now is, because of this album drop and whatever, and this is a running theme for Sammy Serious and the rest of the band too. For some reason, Sammy is fixated on the names of the members of the band and feels the need to put them in a lot of the songs. So you're going to get a chance to hear this right now. This is the lead-off track from 4-3-2-1 off Restless Records. This is the Zeros. This is the introduction. Here we go.
This record doesn't waste your time. The guitars are crunchy, they're not glossy and glassy like a lot of what you would have heard at the time. Choruses, they hit fast and they hit hard. Vocals, they sound confident, but, not desperate. There's no filler. There's no power ballads. No producers trying to turn this band into something that they weren't. Well, at least not yet. But you can hear traces of, as Gary mentioned earlier, there's a Cheap Trick's early snarl in there. Maybe even some Big Stars melodic heartbreak. Yeah, exactly. But you also had, British glam filtered through the Sunset Strip excess. It sounds like a band that, knew how good they were, which, is always a dangerous thing in LA, to believe your own press. But this is the part where decades later, everyone nods wisely and says, oh yeah, this record was great.
Oh, sure it was.
Yeah, so thanks for showing up now, asshole. The songs on 4-3-2-1, they're built to hit fast. The intros, they punch you immediately. Choruses, they stick with you, whether you want them to or not. Then you got Hook that, so solid, they keep working long after everybody else has dropped the ball.
Well, let's be honest, their lyrics aren't exactly Shakespeare.
Not exactly.
I mean, hell, they're hardly Dr. Seuss.
That's a good comparison.
But they weren't supposed to be. You'll find a lot of repetition in Sammy's writing, and they're not songs per se that have a definable story,
Right.
a beginning, a middle, and an ending or whatever,
No.
But I don't know, Andy, what do you say?
This is an album where the deep cuts don't really apologize for existing. You don't skip tracks, really. If you like the album, you're going to like the whole album. Just quietly wonder, like, why the hell didn't this really work out for the band? But let's listen to a little bit more off of this album. Off the album 4, 3, 2, 1 from the Zeros, let's listen to the song Sticky Sweet Girls.
Great song.
Yeah, here we go.
I should have called a lollipop of love. Drifting on the lips of a sticky sweet girl who's on the phone. I should go look to the west and decided to test all the girls that I guess are the best. Sticky sweet girls in love, you know you're rough, you know you're rough, you know you're rough. Sticky sweet girl in love.
So I don't know, Andy. They had a promising start, and it looked like, that they were a little bit different, and they might be heading places. So what do you think happened? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The train went off the rails somewhere.
I don't know, like a lot of bands that we cover, it's the same crime scene, but, it's just a slightly different chalk outline of the body,
Right.
The labels, because of the power pop decline, if it was even around for a hot New York minute, they didn't know how to sell that anymore, how to, market power pop,
Mm-hmm.
MTV, we discussed this earlier, they are more into visuals because that's what it is, music, television.
Right.
And so visuals.
Wouldn't you think
well,
the Zeros would have fit with that?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they were too early or too late. They MTV wanted the visuals, but I think they were looking more for arty or fashion or the pretty boys with the high cheekbones.
Right, going a little more highbrow at that point.
Well, let's not forget about Girls in Cages, Andy. Girls in Cages.
Always a good choice.
MTV. I don't know. You could say that while the Zeros were on the scene moved on before the ink was even dry, I guess. You could either look at it as either the Zeros were maybe 6 months too late on the scene and maybe, 5 years too ahead of their time, too honest. In the music business, that's a fatal combination.
That absolutely is.
But, instead of this, the Zeros got something else instead of the hits. They got, respect. Now, respect doesn't put food on the table. No. But
how dare you respect me?
Yeah, that album 4, 3, 2, 1, it slowly but surely turns into what people like to call a cult record that's passed around by musicians, collectors, and people who like this type of music who enjoy saying, hey, you probably haven't heard of this. Give this a try,
Right.
It's kind of the album that critics rediscover later and then pretend that they were on board all along,
I love these guys from way back when.
Yeah, sure you did, Right. And to talk about rediscovering the band in this album, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm in my local... Now, granted, this has to be at least 5 years ago. So Sherman set the Wayback Machine for... I'm in a dollar store, which is prevalent in the States. For those out of the States, I don't know if they exist or not. But
I think they call it Pound in town.
Where do we put our pen slads, our shillings? Anyways, in America, there's dollar stores, and that's the whole selling point, is you go in and shit's $1. Now, it's not the best stuff in the world, but you'd be surprised at what you can find in there, and it's only $1. Now that shit's raised up to like $1.25, $1.50 because of inflation or whatever. But anyways, I digress.
Is that a real Picasso?
Yeah.
Only $1?
Could this be a real? But I digress. I'm in this dollar store and I'm just walking up and down, and you go through the electronics section. I'm looking on the shelf. Who do I find? I find an entire stack of this record. CDs. At least a dozen, if not more. I could have bought more, and I thought they're only $1, and they're all still sealed, and they're all zeros 4, 3, 2, 1.
Great find.
So I buy them. I buy at least $10, $12 worth, and I thought, what the fuck? At least I'll give them to friends who may not, like we just said 5 seconds ago, people that may not have heard the band. You've never heard of the Zeros? Here, take this home. Don't know if that would work today because everybody's streaming. Who knows if anybody's even got a working CD player anymore.
Yeah.
But I still have this stack. I've got 9 left there. I brought them in to show Andy today, and on our webpage, I will post these pictures. So yeah, talk about, being a cult record.
I have one of these that Gary graciously gave me back when he purchased this massive stack of CDs.
I think the exact terminology, Andy, was, Andy, have you heard this band, The Zeros? And your reply was, fuck you, Gary. How'd you get my phone number?
Yes, exactly. How dare you?
Security. I don't know. If you take this record and put it on today, I think it still holds up.
It does.
It's in a fun, loving way, it's a fun record. People, it's not down, it's not dour, it's not intelligent, it's not, there's no bloated production on this, no dated synthesizers, they're not chasing a trend, there's no meaningful lyrical content whatsoever. So
Not
you got
at all.
just fun songs by a band who showed up at, unfortunately, exactly the wrong moment, which honestly is the most rock and roll ending imaginable. So we'd like to play you another song here. This is this is a catchy, fun little song, but you're going to see what Sammy's lyric writing process is all about here now in the terms of, a little bit of repetition. Still fun all the same. Turn this one way up. This is danceable. This is Do You Want Some More?
Shakespeare. Pure Shakespeare.
Yea, verily, I say unto you, playeth this record loudeth.
Mr. Insane always drum solo. Do you want some more? More, more, more. Yeah, yeah. Do you want some more? Yeah. More, more, more. Do you want some more? Do you want more? More, 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 more. Do you want some more? Do you want more?
here's where the story gets even messier or more interesting, depending on how you look at it. After 4-3-2-1 kind of, slips through the cracks, I guess you would say, Zeros, they didn't just vanish. Instead, their catalog kind of fractures into these, I don't know what you might call cult artifacts. You got the album titled Names, Volume 1.
Now, this album, Andy, Names, this is the first time we get a lineup change in the band. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, we should probably know this, but we were too lazy to find out.
Right.
Danny Dangerous is out of the band.
I'm out of here, lads.
Lads, I'm out. And so the lineup changes.
My eyebrows and going home.
Yeah. I'm taking my clown suit and I am gone. So Danny's out. So they bring in this new guy named Toy Stacy.
Toy Stacy.
Yeah, well, in the song Names, which Sammy's got this this wanton thing to put the names in the band of the song. So, but you didn't have to change the lyrics much. They're basically the same.
Right.
I'm Sammy Serious. This is Joe Normal on guitar. And then all of a sudden it's Stacy's on the bass instead of Danny's on it. So it doesn't change much or whatever.
Wonder if during any live performances he said the wrong name.
Yeah. Well, tell me more about this Names album.
This is kind of the Zeros, stripped off of any expectations they might have had. They're a little bit looser. The album's, I'd say, a little more raw, less interested in chasing anything that even resembles a trend. The hooks are still there. Polish is definitely gone. And what you hear instead is what I would say like a band kind of documenting itself, probably not intentionally, but it's scrappier, more intimate. It's a less album and more maybe evidence of their existence. A 4-3-2-1 was the record meant to win, to take them over the top. Names is it's the one that's meant to survive. The songs rescued from obscurity and finally given daylight. Nobody expected them to, but here you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is as they're starting to fracture a little bit. I mean, Danny leaves the band, but they still have the Hutchinson brothers, which is a big deal because, Sammy's voice is not the best voice to begin with. And we'll get into this a little bit more as we further this podcast along. But those backing harmonies from the Hutchinsons and everything, and they're playing, they are both monster players, monster drummer, monster guitar player. Mm-hmm. So even though this is, kind of lackluster after 4-3-2-1, it's still got some merit because of the guys that are in the band.
Right. And speaking of that, let's listen to a song from the band, and you guys can judge for yourself what you think of Sammy's vocals. Let's listen to I've Got My Name from the album Names.
Yeah, and again, here's Sammy's obsession with getting the names of the band members in the songs. Now, remember, we played you one earlier. That's the introduction. This is the follow-up lead-off song of the second album, Names. And here we go with the names again. And I guess after that, then the wheels really started to come off the wagon, The Hutchinsons bail, and they try to get their own thing going.
We're out of here, lads.
And so now you got Danny gone, and both of the Hutchinsons gone. Sammy's the only original member left in the band. And so they get a whole new cast of members. Well, Toy Stacy still sticks around on bass, but now they got this guy named Jimmy Glitter on guitar and
Jimmy Glitter, yeah.
Stacy Starr on drums, and
that's Star with 3 R's.
Yeah, so Starr. So he's a pirate drummer apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but yeah, this is a pale comparison to what was once a fan favorite on the strip. They had everything going. So now it's just basically Sammy with some hired guns.
Right, yeah.
But they're going to rule the world. I don't know. That title alone sounds like a joke that the band may not have even been in on.
Yeah, a little lofty.
This record shows Sammy still trying to grind it out, still trying to keep the Zeros name alive. He's older, and he's still writing songs, but now, he's fully disconnected from any illusions about the industry. There's, the major label deals are gone. There's not going to be anything,
Right.
He's still got confidence, but, it's the hard-earned, I'm going to keep doing it no matter what, not the starry idol. I'm going to get signed to be a star. That's here and gone,
Gone.
The hooks, they're still somewhat there, but nowhere near like the debut album. The guitars still bite sort of, but hey, that whole thing that they had is now kind of gone,
Right.
So no countdowns this time, no promises, just a band playing. I don't know if they have to anymore at this point,
Right. Just trying to keep the name alive.
You put these records together and it only, like 4, 3, 2, 1, they only hint at the Zeros, what they could have been or could have done, They weren't a fluke. They were a band, at least with somewhat of a catalog. And I don't know, it just seemed that they just happened to be out of step with the rest of the world at that time. But they did get one major label funded video that's kind of fun, and it'll give you an idea of who the Zeros are. And this is probably them in their glory. So if any of this that we've talked about and any of this that you've heard up until this point, go find that Love's Not Fair video and come back to us in a couple minutes. You'll know what the Zeros are all about.
Exactly.
So there you go. Go listen to Love's Not Fair, either the audio track, or find it on the video, and you'll get an idea. And this one's pretty good. This was supposed to be their one that made them stand out. And this was, the initial push. Here's the Zeros.
Love's not fair. Ooh, yeah. You said your legs, so what? Your eyes, your mouth, your gut. Why? So tough. Why am I too rough? Well, I'm waiting so long and I don't care. Love's not fair. Ooh, yeah.
After the band finally pulls the plug in 1997, the story really didn't end there. It just kind of splintered off in different directions. You got frontman Sammy Serious. He resurfaces back in 2000 with the band Serious Suicide and kind of dove headfirst into a darker, sharper territory, I guess.
And then you had the Hutchinsons, their first release, I believe it could have been in 97. I looked it up. I'm spacing it right now. Mm-hmm. But they get their first album, the brothers, guitar, drum, Joe and Jimmy. And they have their first album, and that is called Plastic Fruit and Popcorn.
That's a tasty combination.
All right, so continue.
Meanwhile, you got Joe Normal and Danny Dangerous kind of cranking up the grease with a psychobilly outfit called Cold Blue Rebels.
They released several albums, I think.
They did, and they teamed up with Mickey Finn from Jet Boy, who we also did an episode on recently.
Jet Boy.
And Spaz Drastic, who was the drummer of the band Glamour Punks. He was part of that Cold Blue Rebels outfit as well.
There you go.
And, they stayed loud and making a lot of noise because going quiet was never optional for these guys.
Here's a couple of things that the people may not know. You may not know, Andy. Did you realize that Danny Dangerous, the bass player, for the last 26 years, he has been the stage manager of the main room of the Comedy Store Comedy Club in Los Angeles, California.
Really?
The stage manager for 26 years.
That's pretty impressive.
In the main room.
In the main room. That is absolutely a huge responsibility.
That's not the chumpy comedians. That's not.
Tell Pauly Shore to get back to the small room.
So you have Danny Dangerous. That's kind of what he's been doing, since then. Apparently he's a single father who spent a lot of time, bringing up his son, which is commendable and whatever. So
never mind that shit.
Yeah,
what about those eyebrows?
All right, kid, you're out of here. And let's see. Joe Normal, he's been not only in the Cold Blue Rebels, but, Andy, you and I have a mutual friend that lives in Los Angeles. And if we can name drop right now, just for a little bit of recognition, there's a friend of ours named
Anthony Castillo.
And Anthony is personal friends with Joe Normal of the Zeros. And through that connection, we've been able to chat or whatever. And turns out that Joe also has a side career. Well, he did at one point. I don't know if he's still doing it, but in the what have they been doing department, he has a entertaining children. He has a band called The Conductors.
The Conductors.
And it's children's music based around trains and railroads and stuff like that. He wears a conductor's hat and bib jean overalls, and he's got a side hustle making music for children.
So none of that pulling a train on your mom's songs.
That's a little bit over their head, Yeah, a little bit of loose in the caboose, exactly, right? I got your Amtrak right here, And then, of course, let's not forget Sammy. Now, Sammy, I don't know.
Some recent history, doesn't he?
He's how do you say this politely? Because, I've gotten an affection to the dude, but time has taken its toll. He's resorted to, obviously you can't have purple hair forever. I mean, a dye'd probably destroy it or lose it or whatever, but he's taken to wearing this really schlocky Las Vegas-y purple wig to try to keep the purple thing alive.
Yeah.
And his voice has unfortunately not withstood the test of time very well, and he's dropped about 3 or 4 octaves. And he continues to write albums. He's just had one that was released in 2024, May, I believe. So it's fairly recent. Yeah. The album is titled I Am the Zeros.
I Am the Zero.
And the songwriting skills have, I don't want to use the word diminished, but they're not nearly as clever or tongue-in-cheek, and he still relies on repetition, repetition, repetition. He just clubs you over the head with a verse and then just will not stop with that verse or whatever,
Yeah, cut it out with the names thing.
All right, to be fair, let's let the listeners decide. How about we drop a song from that 2024 album from Sammy Serious titled I Am the Zeros. Here's the song titled I Am the Zeros. And here's, again, his fucking obsession with names. Now, he's the only one in the band, so let's just put the focus on him. And it's hilarious. A little spoiler alert. Listen to the verses. He's going to mention the Beatles, the Stones. He's going to mention Electric Light Orchestra and the Sex Pistols, and then he's going to throw his name into the mix. Hysterical. Hysterically funny.
Stones. Hey everybody, where the hell's Elvis? The Sex Pistols or ELO? Hey everyone, I'm Sammy Serious. I am the Zeros, I am the Zeros. Hey everyone, let's start this rocket show. I am the Zeros, I am the Zeros. Hey everyone, we're purple-headed heroes. I am the Zeros, I am the Zeros. Let's all go to the Zero Show. Everybody, where are the Beatles? Hey, everybody, where are the Stones? Hey, everybody, where the hell's Elvis? The Sex Pistols or ELO? Hey, everyone, I'm Sammy Serious. I am the Zeros, I am the Zeros. Hey, everyone, let's start this rocket show. I am the Zeros, I am the Zeros. Hey, everyone, we're purple-headed heroes. I am the Zeros, I am the Zeros. Let's all go to the Zero Show. I am the Zeros, 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 I am the Zeros.
Anyways, and he's still out there trying to, I don't know, again, how do you be polite? I don't want to use the term beat a dead horse, but, they did actually have a reunion show, a 30th year reunion show at the Whiskey. They held that show on May 23rd of this year, 2025, all original members, and the place was sold fucking out.
Yeah, I think it sold out extremely quickly as well, if I remember from social media.
Well, there are clips of this on YouTube. You can see some of these clips if you're interested of the 30 years later back at the Whiskey doing that thing. So I don't know. And then time does what time always does. And, we'll get around to reissuing. And that's exactly what happened. So I don't know. This says May of 2015. So that doesn't sound like so recent. But no. You weren't able to find. Sammy also says in several interviews that the reason that until recently none of the Zeros catalogs were on streaming is because he disagreed with the royalty payments and what artists got, and was a firm believer in you want to hear the music, then buy the fucking album. Nothing wrong with that, but kind of an outdated way of looking at it in today's streaming age. So for the longest time, none of this stuff was available. But recently, I guess Warner Brothers reissued 4321, and they reissued the Names Volume 1 album. And so it kind of drug the Zeros back into the light for maybe a whole new generation of troublemakers, but you'd have to find them and know who they were. Again, this is just a vanity show for Andy. Well, I can't speak for Andy. Andy, I'll let you speak for yourself. But this has always been a guilty pleasure band of mine. But and I got to see them twice live at our little home club town here that we've talked about many times, the Mason Jar Club. Mm-hmm. And so, and I've got a bunch of paraphernalia, something that I shouldn't have held on to for 35 fucking years, but I have it. Got a lot of pictures of it. I'll post it on the website, and you guys can see what I'm talking about. So
go check out our Facebook page and on our website, rockandrollgutter.com. Look for Gary's Garage, and you'll start to see pictures of Gary's collection, like just scratching the surface, though. Gary's collection runs wide and deep.
Hey, now, I'm not going to touch that comment. But anyways, here, folks, that's the Zeros. This is a band that counted down. They swung hard. They watched the clock run out on them anyway, So, but hey, again, a guilty pleasure. I love bands that have hooks, choruses, crunchy chords, power pop with teeth. If you love that kind of music, then this album isn't like optional. It's mandatory.
Yeah.
So go out and find it, or send me a message and I'll send you a fucking copy. Lord knows I got a few of them lying around.
He's got a crate full of them.
Yeah, so hey, if you find this, you can find this first album, 4321, that we've been talking about on Spotify. It's out there. So if you do, play it loud. Trust the hooks that you're about to hear. And remember, history doesn't always reward the almosts.
No.
But it does remember them.
And that's what we're here for.
So, Andy, tell me what you got to say about this episode and give me some final closing words on this.
Well, we're going to close out with a song titled Good Night, which is off of the original album from the band, 4321.
And one final listen of Sammy and the unrelenting names in the song.
The names for this guy's name fixation is unusual, but hey, whatever. We all like something weird, but we're going to play that on the way out. But as always, we appreciate you hanging out with us and hope you enjoyed this episode of the deep dive on the Zeros. And we always hope that you come back to join us next time. And remember, my friends, keep it trashy. Woohoo!
Closer to that time again. Time to say goodbye. It's getting closer to that time again. Time to say goodnight. It's getting closer to that time. Time for long goodbyes. All right. Good night, Sammy Serious. Joe Normal's on guitar. Danny's on the bass. And this guy's Mr. Insane. So let's go and the show with the names of who you are. Put us all together, it all adds up. The zeros we are.
Sammy Serious, Joe Normal, Danny Dangerous, Mr. Insane. From your friends the Zeros. In your purpose. That is all.
And to our fallen comrade, Mr. Mink, I think Pink Floyd said it best. Wish you were here. You're here in spirit, brother.
Godspeed, Mink, wherever you may be.
You've been listening to the Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the dirty world of rock and roll. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us reach more listeners like you.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast for all the latest updates, news, and more.
Got questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes? Reach out to us at rnrguttermail@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
So join us again next time for another wild ride through the raw and gritty side of rock and roll. So until then, keep it trashy.